Hello, this is Mr. Win, and this video about sum and difference formulas. So there are three of them. So first one we'll talk about is sine. We have sine of an angle plus another angle all together. So two angles u and v. That turns into sine of the first times cosine of the second plus cosine of the first times sine of the second. Alright, so it stays adding and it's to be sine, cosine, cosine, sine. Alright, for subtraction, same thing, but just change the sign in the middle subtraction. Cosine is opposites. So you have cosine of an angle plus another angle, so cosine of u plus v. It stays cos cos minus sine sine. And then if it's subtraction, you just make it a plus sign. But cosines together, sines together, one of each. Alright, last we have the tangents. Tangents look like that. They're also opposites. So you have tangent of u plus v, tangent of the first plus tangent of the second over 1 minus tangent of the first times the second. But the signs are opposite. So if it's plus sign, there's plus on top, minus bottom. And if it's minus, then it's minus on top, plus on bottom. Alright, so find the exact value of cosine 75. Notice that's not on the unit circle. So we can use the fact. We say, well, 75 is really 30 plus 45, and these are on the unit circle. Alright, so we change cosine 75 into cosine of two parts, 30 plus 45. We then use that formula to say cosine times cosine minus sine times sine. Cosine 30, the unit circle is root 3 over 2. Cosine 45 is root 2 over 2. Sine 30 is 1/2. Sine 40 is root 2 over 2. Multiply and combine, you get that. Now this was not the only possibility. You could also have done 120 minus 45. Right, you could have done subtraction. Cosine of 120 minus 45, and then done the formula, and you get the same thing. Alright, if we type in the calculator, you'll see that this number and this number are the same decimal, about 0.259. Alright, this one's harder, but find the exact value of pi over 12. Pi over 12 is not on the unit circle, but we can find two fractions or two radian measures that add or subtract to pi over 12. That is pi over 3 minus pi over 4. If you do common denominators, that's 4 pi over 12 minus 3 pi over 12, which makes 1 pi over 12. So we're going to use that fact. I'm going to say sine pi over 12 is the same thing as sine of pi over 3 minus pi over 4. We do the difference form for sines. So it's sine of the first times cosine of the second, same sign, minus cosine of the first times sine of the second. Sine of pi over 3 is root 3 over 2. Cosine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. Cosine pi over 3 is 1/2. Sine pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. Multiply, combining terms, you get that. Alright, here's another way we can see it. Find the exact value of sine of 42 degrees, cosine of 12 degrees, minus cosine of 42 degrees times sine of 12 degrees. We have no clue what the sine of 42 or cosine was, but this pattern you should recognize is sine times cosine minus cosine sine. For a second, this is actually the reverse of a difference formula. So that's really sine of u times v. So we can change that into sine of 42 minus 12, which is really sine of 30, and sine of 30 is on the unit circle. We know that is 1/2. Alright, write cosine of arctangent 1 plus arccosine x as algebraic expression. So technically, arcs are angles, right? So this is cosine of two different angles being added together. Alright, so we can say this is really cosine of u plus v. We'll call u arctan 1 and v arc cos of x. And for these, those are not normal. We just draw a triangle. Here's both of them. So for u is arctangent 1, here's the angle u. It says this is the angle u where the tangent is 1. So that's TOA is 1. That means 1 over 1. You Pythagorean theorem, you get root 2. And then here for v, here's the angle. It says what's the angle? Where cosine is x. So cosine is ca, a over h. So that's going to be x over 1. That's why it's x here for adjacent, 1 for hypotenuse. You do Pythagorean theorem, you get square root of 1 minus x squared there. Anyways, we have this. We do the sum form for cosine. Remember, it's cosine times cosine minus sine times sine. First, second. We use this picture to help us. What is arctan, or cosine for arctan of 1? So we're here. This triangle gives arctan 1. So what's cosine of u? Cosine of u is a over h. It's 1 over root 2. That's why it's 1 over root 2. Cosine of arc cos x. So go down here, what's cosine? This is a over h, this is going to be x. Alright, then minus sine arctan 1. Sine is so, here's arctan 1. That's O over h, it's also 1 over root 2. And then sine arc cos x is down here. Sine is O over h, it's going to be root 1 minus x squared all over 1. Which you don't put it over 1 part. Alright, you multiply, those already have common number root 2's, and the tops don't really combine, so you leave it like that. Alright, here we're going to prove the cofunction identity from before. Really, this is just a difference for cosine. So you just do the formula for cosine u minus v. So this turns into cos cos plus sine sine. Cos pi over 2, you should know 0, times cosine x. Then plus sine over 2, pi over 2 is 1 times sine of x. Well, 0 times cosine x is 0, 1 times sine x is just sine x. So we match the left side, and it matches the right side. Alright, we can also do some different formulas to rewrite expressions that look like this, because it's just sine of something plus another thing, or cosine of something plus another thing. Alright, we call this the reduction formulas. We're going to simplify each expression, problem A and problem B. So problem A, cosine of this minus this, use the difference formula. So you're going to rewrite it as cosine cosine plus sine sine, cosine 30 leave alone, but cosine 3 pi over 2, you know, 0. Sine 30 leave alone. Sine of 3 pi over 2 is negative 1. Cosine of 0 is 0. Sine times negative 1 is negative sine. Alright, we're going to do the same thing for tangent. So here's the formula. Then we're going to calculate tan theta, we leave alone, but tangent 3 pi, you should know it's 0, because that's over here at pi. Then on the bottom, do the same thing. You get that. That's 1. That's minus 0. Tangent over 1 is just tangent. And you should know that's a coterminal angle for tangent, right? Tangent has a period of pi. So we get theta, you add pi, you get the same spot. Add pi again, same spot. Pi, same spot. Or same value. Add 2 pi, get the same spot. Alright, find all solutions to this on the interval 0 to 2 pi. So this is a sine, sum of sines, so you can do the formula twice. Here you should recognize the first thing and the third thing combined. That's sine x cos to the power 4, sine x cosine. Then the second and the fourth cancel out. Positive cosine sine power 4 minus cosine x sine over 4. So you get this. Divide both sides by 2. Oh, and also, I didn't divide. They just found the value of cosine power 4, which is root 2 over 2. Here you multiply those. 2 times root 2 over 2 is root 2. So this is sine x root 2 equals negative 1. Divide both sides by root 2. Then rationalize that. So where's sine of x negative root 2 over 2? You should know in the unit circle it's 5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, because we're in quadrants 3 and 4. That's for 0 to 2 pi. If I wanted all solutions, I had 2 pi n plus 2 pi n. Alright, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Ask questions. Bye.